National headline read, Tim Hortons says temporary foreign worker program no longer necessary. However, they currently have more than 80 TFW positions advertised on a Government of Canada site. Will the minister cancel these permits and not issue any more?
The federal government is now spending more than $1.1 million every single day administering programs to bring foreign workers into Canada. They're not spending this money on housing. This isn't on skills training. It's not on apprenticeships. It's definitely not helping young Canadians find jobs. This is importing labor to displace young Canadians, and we have the documents to prove it.
We have taken back control of immigration. That's meant the population growth has flattened. In fact, it's slowed, or it's been negative for the last 2 quarters.
According to newly released order paper responses to Parliament, Employment and Social Development Canada spent nearly $178 million administering the temporary foreign worker program in 2024-2025. At the same time, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, that's IRCC, spent another $228 million issuing work permits to foreign workers. Combined, that's more than $405 million a year, or about $1.1 million every single day. And that's just the bureaucracy to administer the program. It's not settlement services, it's not housing, healthcare, infrastructure costs associated with rapid population growth. That's just the cost of running the machinery to displace young Canadians from their first jobs. The biggest expense inside Employment and Social Development Canada wasn't inspections or enforcement. It wasn't making sure employers weren't abusing the system. It was the headquarters bureaucracy. Nearly $90 million was spent on policy development, operational guidance, labor market information, systems support, and internal services. Another $54 million went to processing labor market impact assessments. Another $31 million went to employer compliance verification. The bureaucracy overseeing foreign labor has become a massive industry unto itself, and it's growing fast. In 2020, ESDC's share of administering the temporary foreign worker program cost taxpayers about $112 million. Today, it's $178 million. That's a 59% increase in just 4 years. IRCC's costs jumped even more dramatically, rising from roughly $149 million to $228 million over the very same period. So while Ottawa lectures Canadians about fiscal restraint and budget pressures, it's quietly built a foreign worker bureaucracy that now costs more than $400 million annually. And here's the question nobody in the federal government seems to be willing to answer. If employers are so desperate for workers that taxpayers need to spend more than $400 million a year administering foreign worker programs, why are so many young Canadians unable to find jobs? According to Statistics Canada, youth unemployment for Canadians aged 15 to 24 reached nearly 14.3% this spring. That's more than double the national unemployment rate. It's also dramatically higher than the 9% youth unemployment rate recorded in 2022. The Bank of Canada notes that youth unemployment has risen more sharply than any other age category in the labor market. And the situation is even worse when we distill it down to the teenagers. Statistics Canada reports that unemployment among Canadians aged 15 to 19 reached 20.8%, meaning roughly 1 in 5 teenagers looking for work can't find a job. Think about that for a second. 1 in 5.
A shocking new report found that nearly 500,000 young Canadians were unemployed in 2025. That's a 57% increase in 3 years, and that's worse than the recessions of 1981, 1990, and 2008 for young people. Liberals ran over $1 trillion debt.
Unbelievable.
And they priced Canadians out of the housing market, the highest housing costs in the G7, and then loosened the foreign work restrictions and flooded the labor market. A decade of their support, and somehow every single door is closed for young Canadians. How is it that this government is locking young Canadians out of both the housing market and the labor market at the same time?
Unbelievable.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Speaker, Canada's new government is fiscally responsible. We've reduced the deficit by $11 billion. We're in the strongest fiscal percentage of the G7.
Wow.
Mr. Speaker, we're making investment in major infrastructure investments that are transform and connect our economy. Our workers know this, Mr. Speaker. Let's hear from our workers. Let's hear from the UA that's in that member's riding.
For generations, those first jobs were how young people got started in life, working at restaurants, retail stores, coffee shops, Tim Hortons, I'm looking at you, and tourism businesses. Entry-level positions that taught workplace skills, helped pay tuition, and gave young Canadians their first experience in earning a paycheck. Now, many of those same sectors are among the largest users of temporary foreign labor. Meanwhile, young Canadians are sending out resume after resume and hearing nothing back. A recent analysis found that roughly 437,000 Canadians between the ages of 15 and 24 were actively looking for work but unable to find it in 2025. That's a 57% increase compared to just 3 years earlier. Nearly 500,000 young people in this country can't find a job. And yet, the Liberals in Ottawa are spending more than $1 million every day to help employers recruit workers from abroad. And before anybody accuses me of blaming foreign workers, let's be clear. It's not their fault. They're responding rationally to a system designed by politicians and bureaucrats to bring them here. The real question is why government